Hi, and welcome to another FAQ Monday. I am your host, Fluff, and I'll give you one of these and one of these. If you have a question, feel free to leave one down below. We're going over to my AskFM account thing, and we will get you squared away. First question! What are your thoughts on Danelectro guitars? I like Danelectro guitars. I always loved the fact that you saw really big rock stars playing the very inexpensive Danelectro guitars back in the day. I just got this guy. This is a 64 XT that I'll probably do some sort of demo or use it in something. But I saw this at NAMM and I thought this was really, really cool. But Danelectro stuff has been making a huge comeback in terms of what they're doing for guitars. And you guys know I've been a fan of the pedals, and I just think they're kind of just doing cool stuff. And I like the fact that the newer stuff, like the 64 XT, has like modern amenities like a Wilkinson bridge tremolo and things like that. So yeah, they're doing a good thing. JCM900's seem to get a lot of criticism online. Why is that? You know, I don't know. I think half of it is forum keyboard warriors just going, oh, it's a clipping diode, not a whatever, blah, 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 of the 800. And then the other half of the people like me had bad experiences with certain models of the JCM900. Now, there were multiple variations of the 900. You had the SLX, you had the dual reverb, you had the 4500. I think there was another variant in there as well. And those were all different amps under the JCM900 moniker. And when Rest Repose played with the Drowning Pool over the summer, CJ had 3 JCM900 half stacks, and they sounded amazing. Honestly, they sounded so good. And I have personally owned a JCM900 4500, and which is a totally different amp underneath the hood, and it sounded like a Big Muff fuzz pedal. I hated that amp. And I traded it for my PV5150 at the time. I can't even believe I did that. Don't hate me. But I made a mistake. We all make mistakes. But that JCM900 4500 was totally different than a dual reverb. And the SLX is like a high gain version of the dual reverb, as I understand it. So maybe different people have just heard different versions of the 900. But for the dual reverbs, yeah, they're legit. Have you ever purchased a guitar without playing it? I have purchased a couple without playing it, and those are the ones that I'm generally most nervous about. All of the Gibsons I ever bought were online. Well, with the exception of my very first RD Standard, but my RD Artist, my 77 RD Artist was online. That was from Chicago Music Exchange. And my 2012 Les Paul Traditional was also from eBay, and that one I was really nervous about because there's so much counterfeit stuff out there. It was a legit guitar, and it turned out to be a great guitar, but I do get really nervous if I can't play it beforehand, just because you never know, and you never know what's gonna happen in shipping, and with the weather shift and the climate stuff, and goes from a hot place to a cold place, or vice versa. So you never know, because no one wants to be disappointed when they take their new guitar out of the box and it sucks. Like, oh, that's lame. But generally speaking, I've had pretty good luck. I have only had, I mean, to be fair, like when I bought my RD Artist, my 77, it said the frets had been leveled. It was all good to go. Well, what they didn't say was the frets were literally leveled to basically level of the fretboard. It was basically a fretless guitar. There were no frets left on that guitar because they didn't want to do a fret job on it because it was, you know, way too costly for them to do. So the frets were like, it was comical. It was unplayable. So I immediately had to get a fret job on it. But that's really the worst experience I've ever had with buying a guitar sight unseen. But yeah, I try not to do that if I can help it. Thoughts on EL34s in a dual rec? I like EL34s in a dual rec. I used to run, when I was touring with a dual rectifier, I did run EL34s just because I didn't want it to be so boomy because they, you know, the low end on dual rectifiers is not typically super, super tight. And I was trying to tighten it up and add some mid-range at the same time. So EO34s fit the bill nicely. However, dual rectifiers were meant to use 6L6s. And I eventually just went back to 6L6s because I think that's just what a dual rectifier sounds best with. But yeah, EO34s are good. KT77s are even better because you get the low end of the 6L6s and the nice top end and the mid-range of the EO34. So if you have a dual rec and aren't really happy with the 6L6s and want to try something else, definitely try KT77s. They're awesome. And now Fluff reads a tweet. How weird are relationships? You basically come across a stranger and through a series of words and actions, you're like, yeah, okay, I'd choose this one. My suggestion to you this week is to check out this amazing video about the broken formula of music biopics from Patrick Williams. I thought this was a great take on the formulaic nature of musical biopics like Straight Outta Compton and Bohemian Rhapsody and all sorts of music biopics. There's so many commonalities and cookie cutteredness. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm going with it. It's a really cool insight into modern musical biopics, and I thought you guys would enjoy it as well. All applicable links down below in the description. You've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.